Okay, everyone, welcome back to part 2 of setting up your Google account. As you saw from the first video, we have already set up our Google account, and so that's what we're going to start with. So once again, I'm going to open Chrome, okay, sign in, and I'm going to go to my account, which for this one, I'll go back to that google.test@envisionedplus.com, okay? So that should be the one you set up from the first video. So just simply sign into your account, and this is what you should see. You should be on google.com when you sign in, and your email address should be up here so that you know you're logged in correctly, okay? And once we're at that point, it's time to start exploring some of these apps, okay? So the first one we have on our list is the Google Calendar, okay? So I'm going to go into Google Calendar, and remember, how do I do that? Go to the 9, that's your menu, okay? Here's my calendar, click. And now I'm in my calendar, okay? It'll give you some tips and tricks. I'm just going to say got it, you know. I circled the month right here because that's the view that I prefer. It's a lot easier to see what's coming up. I don't really need to see my holidays, so I'm just going to turn off that square. Okay, see how I did that? On and off, okay? That's why I have this circled. And once again, I have this circled just because if you're like, what calendar am I on? Who am I talking to? What am I doing here? It's this right here, okay? And see Test at Envisioned Plus, those are all my events. I'm going to turn off birthdays because I don't need to see that either. It usually does that from your contacts in your Gmail or whatever it is, so we don't have to worry about any of that stuff. So, so let's just do a quick test. I'm going to sign in with a different account, so I'm just going to go to my michael@envisionedplus.com. Okay. And so let's just say that I'm going to set up a little test. Okay, so I go to the 21st, and I'm just going to say test event. Okay. And whichever calendar, you're going to add it to is going to be up to you. So I'm just going to say, Envision Ed Plus is the calendar. Okay, so I'm going to create the event. All right, so I did that, test event. Okay. Now, what I want to do is invite google.test. Okay, so this would be, pretend that I am Michelle Timmons, and I need to invite you to an event. Okay, so I'm going to add a guest, and I'm going to add, what was my email again? Google.test. Okay, so I'm going to add google.test@envisionedplus.com. Okay, so this is me sending you an invite. Okay, so I've done that. Now if I go back to my calendar, oops, yes, I want to save, and I do want to send my invitations. Okay, so I've got my test event right here, and if I click on it, I can see who's going because I've invited people. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my original calendar. Okay, and you can see right here, test event is on my calendar now. And notice, this is why I have that upper right hand corner circled. So if you look here, make sure you know what account that you're on. Okay, now what's cool is that you can open up as many accounts as you want, right? So the more business you get, and the more people you talk to, and the more email accounts you have, you can just go wild and just have as many Google calendars as you want. But what's important is that you want to give people the email address that you're going to be using with them the whole time, and that's the Google account that you're going to use. So anyway, I digress. So here's my test event. I've already got it set up and I've sent it. So pretend, I'm Michelle Timmons. I'm sending you google.test. Okay, and see that test event right there? See how it's got that little arrow? If I click on that, I can say yes, maybe, or no. Or I can remove it. So I'm going to say yes, click. So now that event is now on my calendar, okay? And again, excuse me, this is not a Gmail. This is a Google account. So now I can see these events on my Google Calendar for this email address. And if I go back to here, I can see that this person has clicked yes, that they are going. See the check mark? Google.test. So they have now accepted the invite and they are good to go. So if you get an email or I'm sorry, if you get a Google invitation from us at Envision Ed Plus, you will see it pop up on your calendar that you have set up with your email from the first video, okay? So that's Google Calendar. Pretty cool, huh? Very, very, very useful. And actually what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to log out of everything so I don't confuse everybody, okay? Because now we're going to do the drive, which is the next, really important thing. In fact, I think that's the next step on our list. Yes, so Google Drive, also known as G Drive. So when you say people look in the G Drive, that kind of stuff, that's what they're talking about. So right away, you're probably thinking, Mike, how do I get to the Google Drive? Okay, so remember, google.com, www.google.com, sign in. I'm going to pick my email that I've set up. Okay, and remember, how do I get there? Boom, right here, your menu, Drive. Now I'm in my Google Drive for that same email. And sometimes they'll be like, yeah, we got updates, we've got cool stuff, and it's like, all right. When you set up a new one, it'll have this getting started. If you need to read some more information, I usually just delete it right away. But this is what your drive is going to look like. And once again, make sure that you're paying attention to which account you're using. Okay, that's the account that I am using. Really what all you need to know about the Google Drive is just making sure that you are signed into the correct account. And if you're unsure, if you're clicking on My Drive and you're not seeing something that's shared with you, remember, shared with me. That is a surefire way to find anything and everything that someone has shared with you through the Google Drive, okay? So let's do a quick review of the calendar and the G Drive or Google Drive, okay? Open Chrome. And actually, so I don't confuse everybody, I'm going to sign out. Okay. All right, and then I'm going to sign in. Google Test. That's my, that's your usual account. I'm going to go up here to my 9-square menu, Calendar, Google Test. See, this is still my email account. There's the invite that I was invited to and that I've accepted. Okay, showing up on there. Makes sense. And then again, click on my menu, go to my drive. And here's the document that has been shared with me. Same email address, okay? So your email address never has to change. It's just a Google account.